Welcome back to Viewer Discretion with myself and David Dennis Jr. We are so excited to be talking about the new season of Married at First Sight today.
Yeah.
This is a recap of episodes 1 through 7. I know 8, 9, 10 just dropped. Next week we will do the second half of the season, but full disclosure, I could not watch 10 episodes of television in 1 week. I barely got through 7. And I'm told that this TV show used to be significantly longer. So David, let's just start. You have watched Married at First Sight.
Yes.
This is my first Married at First Sight experience. And when I mentioned I was doing this show to everyone, people said it's good, but it's very long. There's a lot of filler. And I was like, it's not that long. It's not that bad. So, but apparently there's been some changes since it moved to Peacock, which if you're listening and you haven't watched, which would be crazy, but it is available on Peacock now. It used to be on Lifetime, I think.
Yeah. Well, we do have a lot of people in the YouTube comments who say they watch Viewer Discretion without watching Love is Blind. They just kind of go straight to us. So shout out to y'all. Y'all are all great people. But yeah, this is, we first talked about Married at First Sight for this season. I was like, man, it's a lot of churning of it, because prior, I mean, it was like 20 episodes and you wouldn't get through the weddings until like episode 3 or 4. It was just so much. You would get the whole, like, everybody's filling out the forms and all that stuff to see if they get chosen. You get their background. There's pre-Married at First Sight. There's the post-Married at First Sight shows. There's like so much that went into it. It was one of my pandemic watches. Married at First Sight became like a pandemic thing for me. And it became like a really fascinating show. They had a season during the pandemic where
like a bubble season,
pretty much, where the couples got married and then they were on lockdown and they filmed their own content for like 8 weeks, like living together. Like before, like they kind of paused the show, but the couple stayed living together. And it was really interesting. It's like fascinating to see these couples. Like, I've just been married to you for 2 weeks. Now we're living together. We can't go anywhere. And we're stuck in this house or this apartment, it's 1-bedroom apartment, for 8 weeks. And then they start the show up, and then they decide to get married, which was an incredible season of reality TV.
Surreal.
Yeah.
Well, actually not surreal though, because I feel like I knew a lot of people in real life who were like dating a guy for 2 weeks, and they're like, cool, we live together now because of the pandemic. So maybe it was actually more reflective of reality than normal. That's really funny because you get thrown into it now. You get the weddings in episode 1.
Yeah.
I kind of love that because I just didn't know that much about any of these people.
Mm-hmm.
The funny thing though of my experience of that, David, is like you were ahead of me, as you often are. So I was on episode 1, you're already like on episode 4, then 5. Yeah. So I'm texting you like, they seem great. Everybody's so in love. And you're like,
Yeah, they managed to like thread a needle of like, I actually feel like we got to know them a lot better before the wedding, and yet still they sped through it and got us through the weddings in the first. It's just like really great editing and really great stuff. They're doing a lot of good improvements that they've done this season. So shout out to them. Kudos to the Married at First Sight Peacock crew.
Now it's the same people who make Love is Blind, and this is very interesting to grasp immediately after Love is Blind, because in some ways it's like they're better set up for success because the experts who we can talk about are really trying to find people who are already compatible. You can tell that they want people who will be physically attracted to each other. So they're not trying to they're trying to find people who are roughly even in terms of their looks and all of that. But they don't know each other in the same way that like the Love is Blind people do. I guess they only talk for like 5 to 10 days before they meet, but it's definitely I want to talk to you about the differences between the shows as we I think an interesting question is, are you more likely to find love with Love is Blind or Married at First Sight? Like, which of these mechanisms works better for you?
So I've always thought that I could do Married at First Sight. Absolutely. Like I 100% could do it. Like sign me up. Like I just think like,
really,
I just think like, and this is just a sort of a larger idea about marriage. I think anybody could just get married and just kind of stay married. You know what I'm saying? Like, I just think like people could be just married, like, you've been married for a while. I had been married for a while. Like, you just do it. Like, it's a thing that's like, you can just do it. And so like, I just feel like
off of his wedding is like, anyone could get married, whatever. I think the stay married thing is interesting, right? Though, because Love is Blind it's like, will they make it to the altar? But they can really break up can break up immediately upon seeing each other. Shout out Casey. Whereas Married at First Sight, it does seem like there's more of a commitment to like seeing it through and then making the decision. And like there's couples this season who, if the experiment had ended after 2 weeks, hell no, would they still be together? But then they kind of worked through it. And that I find that dynamic to be interesting as well.
Yeah, because they are. It's a marriage. Like you have the wedding, you do the wedding certificate. You are officially. There are people who have been on Married at First Sight, and they said no at the end of the season. They're divorced. Like you are a divorced person from that other person. And I think that part of that nature of like the marriage itself, them going through what I feel like. I mean, I don't know this whole process. It seems like a more strenuous, sort of more stringent process of being chosen, like being vetted and all that stuff. And I think that they're bought into marriage. And I think this season's interesting because we have multiple people who have been married before, who are older, who just like, I just think when you have been miserable in a marriage, you could just be like, I can make this thing last for a few years. Like I've been through worse.
Married 3 times.
Yeah.
Like, whatever. What's 4 versus 3? Yeah. They're a little less precious about
it.
Yeah. And I do think, but it is, they're married, they're divorced, but I think correctly, they're not like, wow, married, none of these people are like, I'm making a lifelong commitment.
Right.
You definitely feel that they're just kind of doing a temporary thing to see how it goes. So, all right, let's dive into it because we got 5 couples, so there's a lot to go through. And the whole time I was just like, this is why I love doing the show with you, is like the whole time I'm watching shows now, I'm just like, want to get your opinion on stuff. There's a few people that I cannot wait to talk to you about.
Yeah.
Well, Jalynn, Josh are not those people. None of the Jalynn, Josh scenes I'm like, oh, I can't wait to talk to David about it, because there's very little to discuss. I mean, this was a wrap from the jump. So we meet them. I keep calling Josh JJ Redick in my mind. His name is Josh, not JJ Redick. He looks exactly like JJ.
He looks like JJ Redick. Yes, there are things about his appearance that were, I'm surprised by who he has come out to be, which is in a good way. So
JJ Redick, Josh, sorry, I did it again. Interesting life story. Mom was in prison, just met his dad, grew up in, really hard Scrabble upbringing, but he's really self-made. He became the co-owner, importantly, of a roofing business that's very successful. Jalynn, who is the woman, she's 27, I think he's 31. She's like a realtor / spin instructor. Her parents are divorced. Her dad was a baseball player. We meet the dad. Not a great marriage. She, says we see the mom at the wedding, which is interesting. They give each other little gifts before. She gives him like a pom-pom. She's going to be his cheerleader. Her note says, let's effing go. He loves it.
He's a crier. He is a crier. He's a big crier. And he was emotional about this, which is,
Before we get to the meeting and then the aftermath, I'm watching this thinking, I think this is going to work. Like, I feel the same way watching them, like, oh, these people seem like physically and personality-wise pretty compatible, because that's how I felt the whole time.
Yeah, and also sort of go back to the earlier, it's sort of like, when you have like those cults and people are like you like find people more susceptible to a cult. Like they find people who are more susceptible to like buy in to this marriage thing. And I think these two people were bought in to the idea that like, I think they were really into this notion of going to find my love. Like this is going to be somebody I'm going to fall in love with. They really believed in this process. And I think they didn't feel like one of those people was like, let's experiment. Let's see what happens. I think they really kind of walked into it like, we're going to do this thing. Yeah.
They also like, the second they see each other, they're into each other.
Yeah.
To be honest, all of the people are physically pretty into each other. There's no... Which is interesting, I thought. We'll get to some of the other ones. Okay. Well, these two I thought were very into each other from the very beginning.
I mean, it helps. They're both attractive people.
They're both attractive. They're both very conventionally attractive people. Yeah. I mean, he's like, I hit the jackpot. He's like obsessed from the jump. I mean, they are like physically all over each other at their own wedding, in a way that some of the other couples are not. There's definitely more discomfort, reasonably so.
Yeah.
Honestly, there's no drama. There's nothing at the wedding. Like everything's great. Yeah. The only drama is at the end when the mom's like, and I'm getting married too.
Right. Yeah.
I can't believe they got me. I gasped. Like, I feel like I must have seen her in a trailer or something and I didn't register.
I had to rewind it. I was like, wait, what? I was like, what? I was like,
I'm getting married tomorrow. You're my son-in-law.
Yeah.
It's also at first sight. It was like so many like twists got to be yanked around. The mom, it's funny. She looks exactly like her.
Yeah.
too. That was very beautiful woman. They wait all of 2 nights to sleep together.
Mm-hmm.
I'm looking. I have so few notes on them. I'm like, I
Well,
want to talk about
because
them.
you mentioned there's a lot of sexing going on.
Yes, is that common?
Yes,
You
I
watch
think.
the
Well,
show.
I think that there's a lot. Yeah, there's a lot of
It's bad.
like. I mean, because you're married, right? You're married,
Bad.
and there's very much of like, yeah, because they have at the. I mean, similar to Love Is Blind, when they go on the retreat, usually like the second night, there's like, so who's had sex? Like a very natural conversation
Yeah.
everybody would have. That's not scripted whatsoever. But they go like, who's had sex? And most people, I would say, generally, if people are kind of feeling each other, well, they're married. God approves of the sex now, so they can do it. And actually sometimes sex becomes the show has kind of come under scrutiny before sometimes because of the way that like the counselors will sort of try to encourage intimacy because like you're married and that's part of the marriage, stuff like that. But at the same time, the people are like, I've only known this person a couple of weeks, I don't feel comfortable. So there's like a tightrope that they have to walk that sometimes has gotten uncomfortable from that perspective. But I think the sex is kind of no, but it is normal. But we'll talk about another couple I think is propelling the sexual energy.
We'll get to that. Yeah, this one it was just they both were into it from the beginning.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's an interesting character because I was kind of like, what's this guy's deal?
Yeah.
I was trying to get a feel for him, and then he revealed, I think in maybe episode 2 or 3, that he goes to Burning Man every year. Like, got it.
Yeah, same.
I know what he's about. I know like what he's into. I think I like know probably like his politics, if beliefs.
Well, because that was my thing. I was like, I was worried about the politics a little bit. I didn't know what his politics were versus hers.
Yeah.
If they would align, I thought maybe Burning Man. I was like, we know exactly what we're dealing with. All systems go.
Literally, the only drama I think was when he was like, "You love it," and I'm like, you know what? Actually, Josh, I've been with you this whole time. I'm a Josh supporter. Don't make your woman go to Burning Man. Maybe once. You do that should not be a deal breaker in a relationship. That's a whole freaking thing. People are very reasonable to not want to do that. He's obsessed with her though. I mean, there's so many things. Like, it's funny because first of all, one thing is when they go to Panama, so they give them rings.
Yeah.
He buys her
a new ring.
Gigantic diamond immediately, which it's funny because we had so much ring talk as Love Is Blind. That's a big purchase, David. That is no joke that he gave her that ring.
It's no joke, and it's also this dude got bread. Like, he's loaded. He's talked about his money, but like we talked about early in Love Is Blind, Anton and Allie, and him probably feeling like he hit the jackpot when he opened up and sees this woman walking out. Jalyn's got to probably feel like this dude is rich. He looks good. He's a nice dude. Like, ding, ding, ding. Like there's no problem here whatsoever.
I mean, what are the other things? He says, I love you first, like immediately. He brings up the post-nup because his business partner, he says, before he signed up, wanted promise. And then he's like, no, it's cool. We don't actually have to do it. Like, he is so into this woman. It's so funny. Like and I don't see any I really don't see red flags with him. Even he goes to her spin class.
Yeah.
And she says, spin is my whole personality. And she was joking. But there was obviously reminded, I'm sure you thought of the same thing. Dave and Lauren, Love Is Blind, Minneapolis. Remember when Dave was like super toxic and like, again, like Josh was like, man, that was really hard. You're great. I'm just like, you know what? Yeah, that's great, Josh. I don't have it. Like, let's just talk about this way. Is there anything about, because the trailer shows some drama. We'll see what it actually is.
With the ex-girlfriend, or like I don't think that's I don't think it'll be a thing.
But like, is there anything from these first batch of episodes that makes you think this couple has got to have any serious issues?
I don't see it. I just don't see it. I mean, there's the thing about, she's like, I want to work. I want to keep working. I'm like, sure. Yeah, do that as much as you want. Or just do Pilates because he's got the money for it. Like, I think they're going to be great. They are. I think I've been bitten before, but they feel Pantheon couple level of Married at First Sight. And Married at First Sight has had some really legitimately great couples. Yeah, I mean, just for the volume of seasons that they've had, they've had some really great couples, way more than Love Is Blind. But I think this is one of the good ones.
It's literally only one thing I clocked, other than the X thing. We'll see how that shakes out. I think that's going to be sort of like Taylor and Garrett X kind of thing, where it's like a fight for one episode and then they get over it and then it's never brought up again. They do show them going to the shower together in a way that felt a little like, we're going to show you this for a reason. And in the trailer for the season, I remembered, I think it was Jalynn, someone being like, we've been having lots of unprotected sex. So I was like, maybe that could be a thing. Like maybe she's pregnant or something.
Well, there's a voiceover in the preview of somebody saying I'm pregnant, which may be, who knows? I have a theory about who that might be. I don't think it's them. This is my thing about the shower scene. They made the Mile High Club. They wanted to have sex on the plane. They had sex in the plane. I think they just wanted. I think this was part of a kink that they had. I wanted let's go have sex on camera.
Oh, I'm just wondering, why is the camera though? Like, why is this show being so? Maybe they just want to show that that's part of their relationship. I don't know. It just felt like I was like, they're really making a choice to show this to us.
It was totally scripted. He's like, "Want to go to have a shower together?" And they did it. And the cameras. I just think they just wanted to check it off the sex list. They said sex on the plane. They had sex on the reality show. They may have had sex on that hot air balloon, whatever. When she gave the ring, that's what they do.
She seems lovely. Again, I have nothing on her.
She's
I got
great.
no notes. They seem great. They seem like the kind of couple, or if you were at a wedding and they were like your friends from high school, your friends from high school's friends or something, you'd be like, they were nice. We had a good time. I've nothing on. Okay, that's enough. We don't have to talk about them anymore. Brittany and Will. I've been waiting so long to talk to you about Will.
That's a good couple. I thrive on negativity. Give it to me.
Because this couple, actually, the last 2 episodes really ended on a positive note, which we will talk about why that might be. The wedding was fascinating to me.
Yeah.
One of, I think, the funniest conversations I've seen on reality TV in a while.
Yes.
And very cultural, shall we say. So, but first let's start before they meet, because we see him, we see her. He's very educated.
Yeah.
He definitely wants you to know he's educated.
Yeah.
He's kind of like I wouldn't say he's quieter. It's such a specific type of guy. How am I trying to describe him?
He is a walking stereotype of a dude who he's like a Morehouse man. If I found out that this dude went to Morehouse, if I found out he went to Morehouse, I'd be like, that tracks.
When he quoted India.re, I was like, all right.
Right. You're right. He's like, I like people who use intellectual language or whatever. Come on, dude.
So many moments he made me laugh a lot unintentionally.
Yeah.
The scene at the wedding, which I will talk about, but then later on, when he's like, did you know that they burned down rainforest? he just will know stuff. He's got facts. He works at a tech company. She's in HR. They show some of the interviews with them. She has not been in a relationship a long time. She mentions her sister died during COVID. He tells I can't remember if it was the Dr. Pia or someone, but they ask him about sexual stuff, and he says a woman once asked him to put her finger or her fingers like that. I was like, interesting. Okay, so before they meet, though, because clearly the experts think all of these people are compatible. Before the wedding, before they meet, did you think these people would get along and like each other?
I did, because I thought that she's just kind of so positive. I think what we talked about, she's more in the Jalynn, JJ Redick bucket of I'm all in on this thing and I want this. I'm just kind of in love with the process and I love this thing to work. I felt like some of the things I think we can chalk up to his awkwardness and his just kind of weirdness, like the hilarious conversation. I think
very dry.
Yeah, very dry. Very sort of over analyzing things and kind of in his head a little bit. So I was wondering about, because it was kind of hard to read, because when he saw her, I was kind of like, is he not into her?
Or tell at first.
Tell,
then he would talk to the camera and be like, she's gorgeous. And why you're not acting like he didn't act. She's very cute. She kind of looks like Christina Milian, I thought. I think she's adorable. I mean, I thought physically they were pretty compatible. I thought they'll like each other, but he didn't seem attracted to her when they met. So I didn't. Yeah,
but it was hard to tell.
In their relationship, she's like, I can't tell if you actually like me.
Yeah,
and it leads to a lot of drama early on. But I think that's just how he is.
Yeah. He reminds me of in the rom-com, her high school sweetheart meets her, and he's the husband, and he's just kind of like, you have these scenes where him being dry, and these things are like to show the contrast, where they're like laying in the bed and he's being disinterested. And you see, oh, she's really meant to marry the high school dude. He's like the other dude who gets left behind. That's what he looks like. He has this like rom-com 90s black rom-com face, and this personality of somebody who just like gets dumped by her when she finds her actual true love. That's how I felt about him for the first 5 episodes.
I meant Raven Simone.
Oh, got the blacks mixed up.
It's a tough one for me because you're going out on a limb every time. Like a young Raven Simone. Is that wrong though? Because you look so.
I say a little bit. Yes, actually,
like,
I would say more Rudy than Raven Simone. But yes, Christina Milian, that tough move, Mita, tough.
I know that's a brutal mix-up. Young Raven, I actually think is pretty.
Yeah,
good.
I got you. I got you.
Yeah, he's just right. He. So at first, because I hit you during when I was texting you, it was during the honeymoon. I was like, "Ain't no way!" Like, they were fighting constantly, and I said these people are incompatible. But now I think that's not the right way to phrase it. I think it was more just so that this dude does not know how to talk to women.
Yeah.
This is not about her at all.
Yeah.
And because, I think you could watch this and say she's being a little insecure. And I think she is, I wouldn't describe as an insecure person, but she needs affirmation a lot. But he's like the least affirming guy.
Yeah.
And I think that was a problem.
And some of his awkwardness, I think, came from the fact that it like showed in the fact that he just did not know how to talk to her. Like you said, he was sort of like putting her down. He was, I really do think that was his way of trying to break the ice.
Totally. I don't think he thought he was ever being throughout until, again, the last 2 episodes.
He was just really cutting. Yeah, just cutting at her and all this stuff. And that's not what she wants. But I think that's how we thought. I think that's how he was trying to make it work.
Totally agree. Back to the wedding, because I do not want to skip over this scene because it is truly incredible. So, so like I said, at the wedding, like, even when she's like, what do you want to do after? He's like, sleep. And I'm like, just don't say that. Just be like, you make a joke or be sweet, or he's just not giving her what she needs in that moment. And like that, the wedding, when you think about it, is like the most vulnerable any of them.
Yeah.
Because they're like, so like, does this person like me? You have to show the person and tell them that you like them.
Right. Pretty
quickly. And he's just awful about that. But so the scene, of course, is when he goes up to her dad. So I want to make sure I wrote down everything very carefully. This dad is like, did you play sports? He says he did in high school. He asks them about church. He says, I'm not religious. And I'm like, already.
Yeah.
And then he goes, after studying the monotheistic religions, they're all very similar. And that's why I just would define myself as agnostics. The dad is so funny in this scene. He's just looking at him like he's speaking German. And then it leads to, did you know that the Catholic schism killed 3 million people? More people died in the Crusades. I'm dying. So Will goes on this whole like anti-religion speech, and the dad's like, so you play dominoes?
Right.
Lost it. David, please give me your reaction to this scene, because I was crying laughing on the treadmill.
Actually, you texted me and was like, there's a scene in the wedding that's hilarious. As I was watching this scene, and I was like, I know exactly what you're talking about. Because my man, again, this is sort of there was no pleasantries. There was no like hashed, I go to church every once in a while and I do this. And he was just kind of like, no, Catholics murdered a bunch of innocent people.
Okay, let's have a little cultural moment here.
Okay.
Education moment. Am I wrong in thinking if you have ever been around older Black people, you should know to at least
pretend? You gotta pretend. You gotta pretend. An elder Black person asks you if you're religious. You just gotta went to church, go to church. Grew up in a church. You always go
grew up in a church. Just say you grew up in a church. That's not a lie.
Always go to where you grew up. Elder Black person. Hey, you religious? When I was 6 years old, I went to XYZ church and it was great.
I'm watching this scene and I'm like, I am a half Korean girl. Even I know how to handle this interaction better than you will. Have you talked to like an old man? Like I was like very confused by.
You don't go to the Catholic Crusades when the elder black person asks you if you're religious.
There's so many little moments, like when they go to a dinner in Panama, one of many disastrous dinners, and he tries to flirt with Will, which is, I like your dress. It's anaranjado. Lost it. Very notable, though. They get in a fight in Panama that I think is really important, which is we don't see in the moment. We find it the next day that they had sex without protection. She freaked out. He said, cool, take it slow. Then she freaked out again. Mm-hmm. And this to me is, again, the classic he in his mind thought this is the right thing to do. This is logical of somebody. Like, there's on paper, like it makes sense. In the real world, if you're dealing with a woman who just met you for the first time and is freaking out,
and you're married.
You gotta, and you could say, well, why would she freaking out? Was she testing him or whatever? But like the point is not. Yeah. It's just that like these things aren't always about logic and like. Yeah. He's just an overly logical guy, and he doesn't know how to communicate about emotions. I think that's it. So I wasn't even like mad at him. I was just like, oh, bro, like
he's just going about it wrong. He's just going, it's just like, hey, stop looking at the analytics. Read the game. Watch the game, buddy.
They get in so many fights. I wrote all these fights, and he's kind of like condescending in some of them. He's again like I don't think he's a rude or bad dude. I just think he doesn't know how he comes across in a lot of these moments. But I want to take a break before we get to because then they get another fight, and she says, because he told her like, hey, let's just not have sex anymore, and she's even more like horrified and embarrassed. And at this point, before they go back to Austin, any part of you think this is gonna work?
No, because actually when I was trying to see how many seasons or episodes we had to watch and all this stuff, there's like an episode 7. It's like the previous, like one relationship falls apart. And I thought it meant the relationship was over. I thought it was them. I thought that they were just going to call it early because they just seemed so incompatible. I did not like the way they talked to each other. I did not like the way they communicated. I didn't like the sex thing. I thought it was a wrap.
The fights actually do continue. Sorry, when they go back, she gives him a tour of her house, which is so many live, laugh, love signs.
Yes, yeah.
I have those like cringe signs? I have one. Where's mine? This one. Uh-huh. The gift. Yeah. Brittany's probably got. This is also like a theme of the season of Married at First Sight. Yeah. By the way, but it says for the audio audience, dog welcome, people tolerated. This is a gift my mom gave me that I put up during the pandemic and just like left out. He does not really like give her the affirmation she wants about the house. She says she's never had a man at her house, which also is kind of interesting. Yeah. And then when she shows him other clothes, he kind of makes some little. You can tell he just thinks he's being funny about all of her, and she gets really upset. And then he's like, dude, why you freak out every time I talk? And so again, at this point, I'm like, no way. Yeah, yeah. So they get a visit from Pastor Cal, who basically is like, you just need to stop talking this way and just be comforting to her. It's the easiest advice Pastor Cal will ever give. Yes. Uh-huh. So I text you, and then, okay, so after that, they're
one of the hilarious text messages I've gotten this season.
I'm like, damn, did the Pastor Cal actually fix them? Because every scene after that, they're completely fine. They're like even cute and like lovey. And Will seems like a totally different guy. Like he's so good with her. He's like helping her. We find out he was on a business trip, calling her every night. He's even like she's complaining about her hair. And I think old Will would have made a comment. New Will's like, it's all good, baby. Yeah. So I
shed that hair all over the place. It's all good.
I texted you before I had watched, and I was like, did Pastor Cal fix them? And what did you write back?
It wasn't Pastor. It was.
What was your first clue, Pastor David?
It was it was just a little 2-second clip. Just a little hint. It's like watching the Prestige back, where you see just a little clip. And she's in the kitchen, got the lingerie on, grinding on it. She set that man straight immediately after that. He got got them toes curling. They figured it out, and he has been a sweet kid ever since.
This is right now one of the great comebacks of reality television.
No pun intended.
Like if you were to grind the tape, it is like Daniel Jones, New York Giants versus Daniel Jones, Indianapolis Colts, the last 2 episodes of Will. He seems like a great partner now.
Yeah.
I guess my follow-up.
Sometimes you just need to change the scenery to set it right.
I guess my follow-up question for you is does that feel sustainable? Because what you're describing is not how you fix a relationship.
No, it's not. It feels like if and the previews kind of showed that, right? Like I think that again, we saw a preview of him being like, "Have y'all said they love each other?" And he was kind of like, "I certainly haven't." And I think maybe he was trying to be funny or something like that. I just don't know if the sex and the intimacy and the whatever she did to that man is going to make this thing sustainable in the long term. They still got some stuff to work. And my hope is that they get through that. And I think one of the things is that the counselors and all that stuff will ask those questions, right? Like you're being intimate, that's help, but what is the actual stuff that you're doing to sustain a relationship?
I will say he has gotten better at communicating, like visibly better. Like there was even a dinner scene. She made him like a dinner. He was really nice. He's appreciative. She asks him, "Is there anything about me that bothers you?" And I was like the fish dude in Star Wars screaming, "It's a trap!" Right. And he doesn't. He says something, but not in a mean way. And it made me think like if this had happened in Panama, it would be a wrap.
Yeah,
but it does feel like he is getting better at communicating. Jury's still out on this. We can do the predictions at the end, but this one is an interesting one.
Yeah.
It feels more like could go either way to me at this point.
And one thing that you usually have a lot of therapy interventions, which I'm imagining they're cutting out in this season, so we won't, because there's just not enough episodes for it. So it'll be I am interested to see how that works to their relationship, because we do have more. I mean, there used to be whole episodes where it was just
the therapy.
They're just the therapist going to the different couples pretty much, and it's just like,
I like the therapist so far. Like all their advice is pretty good.
Yeah. We second-handedly know one of them, so that's really
cool. Shout out to Pia. Do you think Love is Blind needs these therapists? Do you feel like they would have more success stories if they did?
Probably. Yeah, I think so. I think they would. I think the problem though is that with Married at First Sight, the whole premise is you're already married. We're working on a marriage. Like I don't, and you've already done this. I'm not sure because again, the therapists have come under fire sometimes for being like, let's try to make this work with couples that were like, not even the sex, it's couples who are just like, like these people, y'all should nip this in the bud now. Atlanta Chris. But I think Love is Blind, it's like, you're still kind of, maybe a therapist that does something different. That's just like, I saw a tweet last week that was like, we should do Love is Blind. And as soon as you agree to be engaged, you walk out of the pod and there's a therapist waiting on you to like have an intervention.
I will, in this case, I do think it was really helpful. I really do. Obviously not as helpful as the other form of therapy you're describing, but I genuinely believe Cal was like, just stop being a she was cool. Okay, I'll stop being a okay. I'm rooting for them. No, I know what you're gonna say. I was gonna say that. Meghann and Derrek. Woof.
Yeah.
This one was for me. Well, no, actually, one was a little bit harder to watch by the end because this one was okay. So
this is the hardest one to watch to me
for you.
Yeah, this is. It's my dog thing. It's a recurring theme.
Well, it's interesting though because the dog thing. There's two couples where dog is a big factor, and one of them, the old Belynda, it's introduced and then immediately becomes a non-factor.
Yeah.
Which is, it's not about the dog.
Yeah.
It's about the owner and how they present the dog. And Belynda is clearly a more amenable.
Yeah.
And we'll get to her in a second. Megan's tough. They're both 38. She's also a realtor, kind of hard charging blonde woman.
Very reminiscent of Kick Rocks with open toe shoes.
Yeah. Laura?
Yeah, I think,
Laura, was it? I hated that woman. I didn't hate Meghann at first. Like,
Right.
hate is a strong word. I don't hate any of these people. But at first I was like, okay, this is a woman who's like been single a long time. She says she hasn't had sex a long time. Even when she was like, I don't mind being with someone who makes less than me if they love their job. I'm like, all right, this is, you know, Derrek is such a specific type of guy. I'm surprised he hasn't got a Burning Man because he is given the most Burning Man energy. You know who he looks exactly like? Did this hit you at all? Once you see it, you'll never stop saying it.
Okay.
Ryan from The Office.
Yes. Yeah.
Face is identical to his. Only he's got like the long blonde hair. He was an engineer. He traveled the world. Now he's a CEO of a health and wellness business, aka not a real business. You know what's interesting though? When Derrek's family shows up, they got like real Duck Dynasty looking.
Yeah.
Like, this is interesting. Her mom seems like a lot, very Texas. So she sends him a card with an ice bath, and he's like, I do these regularly. So I'm thinking, like, maybe this will work. And then they meet, and they're both very nervous.
Yeah.
They are physically into each other. So pause. What do you think? You think these two are well matched? Did you, like, have reservations immediately? Obviously, there's reservations later on. We'll get to all the fight. But, like, at the jump, they seem to, like, be like each other.
Yeah.
What do you think?
They were physically attracted to each other. He was into her. And I'd seen, I think, in the preview before where she was talking about his abs and how hot he was and all that stuff. So I knew that she was kind of, I knew he was kind of into him. So I kind of felt good. He handled the mom pretty well. She seemed just kind of like a loud, maybe drunk mom. And they seemed fine. I thought they would get along pretty well. And they did, Fred first.
They did it first. The wedding was a little hard to read, but because they just seemed nervous. He seemed nervous. And the conversation, they didn't like have like sparkling conversation. Like every time Jalynn and Josh talk, you're like, these two people are like meant to be with each other. You know, even in Panama, it was like fine, but like there was still a little off. This is the big source of tension. You know, he asks her questions, and there's a lot of like discussion between the women and the men about like, I'm the Brittany, I'm the Will, or whatever.
Yeah.
So she's like the Will, like she doesn't talk much or give him much in return. And he finally broaches it, and she freaks out.
Yeah.
And this is a pattern that she's an extremely defensive person. And this continues as they get back. It was, I don't know. By the time I got out of Panama with them, I just felt like they didn't seem to like each other very much.
Yeah, I think that argument. Yeah, I think that argument and him seeing that side of her, because I thought he broached the conversation of like, I want a little bit more interest. I thought it was totally fine the way he did it. And would people do that thing where they're like, it's not what you said, it's how you said it. It was bad timing. It was all this stuff.
Yeah.
When sometimes legitimate, but also sometimes you're just deflecting to try to make it to what they said was not okay, which I don't know what the bad timing was. They were on a boat. They're having a good time. It just was basically like, hey, I kind of want you a little bit more interested in me. I don't know I just, kind of want to know if you like me, if you're interested in what I do. And she flipped out, and she really never stopped flipping out on him the whole entire time.
Yeah. From that point on, it's just like nonstop tension. And basically every time she's like challenged or questioned on something, she gets really upset. And you can tell he appears to be walking on eggshells, and he just seems from that point on very uncomfortable. They get back. It is introduced in Panama, pardon me, the kids' conversation. He brings it up again gently. He says he would like 2 to 3. She's like, whoa, that's crazy. I don't want to have, and that's a reasonable thing to disagree about, for her and for him. When they get back, so we see, his ass, because he likes to clean with natural products.
Yeah.
Sure. Hers, so her dog runs in, Zoe, and she says their dogs are everything. And we see the next day they got a huge fight. Basically, he says she told him to walk, or maybe asked him, I don't know, but she basically was like, can you walk the dog?
Woke him up. Middle of the night. It's like, walk the dog. Like, all right.
And also the dog slept in the bed, and he's like, the dog slept on my side of the bed. Okay. and then this turns into a huge fight where she's like, I'm the one who has to compromise. Or no, he says, I feel like I'm compromised on. She's like, well, I compromised on the cleaning products. And he's like, it's not at all the same thing.
And you leave the toilet seat up. And all this.
She runs into the bathroom,
Yeah.
Okay. Let's have a conversation about dogs. As mentioned, I am the owner of a Dogs Welcome People Tolerated sign.
Yeah.
I am the co-host of a podcast featuring a dog. I absolutely adore him. It is insane.
Yes.
To meet someone and then expect them to take care of your dog, to not be sensitive to the way a dog can be a massive incursion onto their life.
Yeah.
And to act defensive or outraged when those things are brought up. So I just want to be clear here. The dog is not the problem,
right.
lady. The dog seems like a fine little innocent little Shih Tzu. How you talk about how you expect the dog to be the immediate centerpiece of this person's life as is your own is the problem.
Night one saying, get up and walk my dog.
Crazy.
Would I, as somebody who, yes, owns a dog, who has had dogs as a centerpiece of problematic, troublesome relationships, but yes, own a dog and have kids who love a dog. I would have lost my mind if you woke me up day one and said, go walk my dog. That is just insane behavior.
I barely am comfortable asking my own family to walk my dog when they stay with me. I'm like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. I'm out for work. Can you mind, please? I'm so sorry. And mom's like, yeah, I walk your dog. I have a dog. It's not a big deal. Like, that is insane to me. If you're trying to make it work in a marriage with someone who's never had a dog, they're moving into like, that is wild.
That is such a level of stress to put on somebody. Like, this is your dog. I don't know nothing about your dog. I don't know how to do this. And you woke me up and said to go walk my dog. Like, I could potentially, I don't know if I would lose a dog. How do I leash this thing? How do I do this thing? It was madness. I would have walked out of the marriage. I would have walked out.
And also a dog sleeping in a bed, like people, that is, again, sometimes it's a hard thing to train out of a dog. I get it. But if it was me, I would sure as hell make sure the dog is on my side and not bothering the person who I introduced. And I mean, it's just wild behavior.
It's hard to train out of a dog, but it's crazy to train into a human night one. There's got to be something else you can do with that dog.
He starts to stand up for himself a little bit. He's like, I feel like I can't say anything. She's like, she keeps saying she's being ambushed. Okay, that's another thing. Like, it's like a person should be able to bring up reasonable criticisms. And at this point, we've seen a decent amount of Derrek. Ain't no ambushing.
Right.
He's being, if anything, super gentle with his complaints and critiques. And this lady is acting like it's a inquisition. So the pastor visits for a reason that's not explained. Derrek is dressed like a magician in this scene. He's wearing like a gold blazer.
They never did explain that. I don't know. Maybe it was a cutout party or something.
Party, she's dressed up too, but I was like, why is he dressed this way? She admits that she's very fight or flight. Okay. But then she says, he can be aloof with Zoe, which again is an insane thing to say about somebody with a dog, but whatever.
Yeah.
What did you make of this scene with the pastor, like basically trying to intervene? Because I feel like she kept trying to pretend like the pastor was on her side and he wasn't. That was my takeaway watching it.
Yeah. She feels like one of those people that when they're doing the work on the like vetting of the people, I bet they're watching this back and be like, I wish we'd have caught some of this. Like, I wish we would have got some of this before we got to this point, because she just seems, she needs so much individual work in her own problem solving, conflict resolution stuff that has nothing to do with Derrek, has nothing to do with Pastor Cal. Like, she needs her own level of something that this dude is very well within his right to be like, it's not my job to make this right for you. Yeah.
She just, the thing I wrote down with the pastor, the way she was talking to him, it was like, it feels like she's asking to speak to the manager.
Yeah.
I don't think they got anything out of it, to be honest. Because she just, I don't think she at this point has, like, Will, to his credit, showed accountability and like seemed like he understood the impact that his words were having. This lady doesn't seem like it's getting.
Yeah, I think Will just, like we talked about, just doesn't quite know, and like I think he's one of those people, once you bring it up to him, it's like, oh, I could change and do this thing different.
Right.
She knows what she's doing. This is who she is. and she doesn't seem to have anything that makes her want to do better.
And I want to, like, again, so they have another conversation about the kids, and Derrek wants 3 kids, and she's like, we're both 38. You know, like, I'm not on her side per se, but like, you know, it's a 38-year-old guy being like, have 3 kids. Like, that's a lot
Yeah.
to put on
And also
someone.
he was kind of like, do you really want I don't know, like almost quizzing her on not her fitness, but like how much do you actually want? I don't know. It was kind of like
I did love it.
Yeah.
I'm not saying he's like perfect at all.
Yeah.
But they have
like I can see her being offended by that, but
totally.
when you I think are playing the like 1 versus 1 keeping score thing, you're not necessarily going to be like she's just going to hold that over his head because he legitimately had a gripe against her too.
They the episode ends with both of them going to, there's a guy's party and a girl's party at the apartments, and he tells the guys that they're having issues. She doesn't. This becomes a massive fight. She storms out, whatever. So we'll get to them, but it's a tough watch for this couple. I don't know.
Are they the pregnant couple?
God, I hope not. Oh Lord.
That's what I think they might be the pregnant couple.
No,
I think they might be the pregnant couple because there's like a preview like we'll get through this together. We'll figure this thing out together. I don't know. They might be the pregnant couple. They might be the pregnant couple.
Pat and Rhonda. This was a real 180 for me.
Yeah.
This one, I sent you her down. I was like, I like this old lady. Like, there was foreshadowing of some of the turn that would come. So he's 59-year-old, retired Air Force guy, loves space, was in a sexless relationship, stuck it out for the kids. Too bad for his ex-wife watching this. She is a mother of 4, 63, had a deadbeat husband, got married again, didn't work out. She's very like
salute to the old people's freedom of being like talking about their exes like that.
Maybe, right. Good point. Yeah, she reminds me of like so many. Like she is kind of like an art teacher vibe to her.
Yeah.
Like, funky outfit. She wears a red dress to the wedding. They're immediately like physically very attracted to each other. And there is one thing I want to flag before we get to the wedding and the end. Her kids are there.
Yeah.
She's got these like punk kids. Like two of her sons have gauged ears.
Yeah.
And her son's like, one of her sons is like, you know, you're a lot, right? She's like, yeah. And he's like, okay. And I'm like, okay.
Yeah. I was like an intervention, like a pregame thing where they were just like, hey, take it, you know, like you kind of a little pushy, you kind of, you know, don't let people off the hook. Come on, you know, like they were really, and we, you know,
we see it. It plays out. Yeah. Early on, I was like, dang, she seems so fun.
Yeah.
She's carefree. What are these kids talking about? And then over the course of these episodes, we get to see exactly what they're talking about, I think, which is an intensity to her.
Yeah.
But in the beginning, it's like, there's no issue. Like, you know, he tells her, right, he lives his mom, his dad died. She just quirks it up, right? She's taking her shoes off to dance. He joins in. She wants to jump in the pool. He says 1, 2, 3. Feel like they had sex before anyone. I
feel like I talked about one couple propelling the sex of the season.
Yeah.
I think it was mostly her. I think she did something to that man. Like there was something
He's hanging on. He's
experienced that he had never experienced before in all of his 60 years of life that she did to that man, that came out of a book or like a trip to like some other country where she learned how to do something and brought it back and curled this man's toes in a way they never experienced before. Because he seems like he's holding on for dear life, trying to keep up with what she got going on.
He is definitely pee-whipped.
Yes.
He sends a video of everyone like on how to join the Mile High Club.
Yeah.
Like, which I gotta say, if I had just met an old man and he sent me that video, I'd be like, this is a little weird.
Also, does it require a video? Like, I don't know.
Yeah, it's like literally there's a bathroom.
Yeah.
Pat. Also, whatever. This might be too much, but I think that's so gross. Maybe it's because I'm in airplanes another time, and like, I just think the bathroom smells so bad.
It does. Also, as a large man, I can't imagine another person in that bathroom with me. Well, like I can't be.
Why do you think that there's always pee all over the floor?
Yeah.
It's like gross. All right, whatever.
Yeah, I don't ever know which button to push to turn the water on, and you're pushing things. You're doing. I just don't know. I just can't imagine being in a airplane bathroom with another human.
It's such a specific smell in there that I
Yeah.
can never get out of my It takes me like an hour to get it out of my nostrils.
Maybe we know what the smell is now.
It's Pat. So the first few episodes, Pat's like, "This is great. I get
Yeah.
the sex queen of my dreams.
Yeah.
I'm rocking. We're doing fun stuff." And then we start to get some cracks in this
Yeah.
relationship. Their first fight is she basically is like, you talk about yourself a lot, and
Yeah.
this becomes a recurring theme. So the first conversation, because it was funny when I was watching it, I didn't feel that way about him.
Mhm.
But then I rewatched it, and she does say I was robbed, and he blows past
Yeah,
her.
he does.
So,
Yeah.
at this point, I'm kind of like, maybe, I could see
Yeah.
this being, like it's an old guy who's not used to being with someone, and
Yeah.
he's just kind of rambling. So she tells him he's not defensive. He apologizes. He is an angel about it, to be honest. And it seems like things will be fine. But then they keep getting in little fights.
Well, in that conversation, he goes, "All right, I want to know about you," and then she goes, "Well, I grew up playing with whatever dolls," and he was like, "Well, I grew up playing with this," and she was like, "See, like you're doing it again." I thought she could have done without that. I thought that didn't need to do.
It was fine. Yeah,
it didn't need to do that. And at that point, I was kind of early on this. At that point, I was like, I just don't think an old person would have the desire to
deal with that.
And I mean, I think there's something to learning somebody else and, getting told, and maybe it works in some instances, but I just think about like if I were 60 years old and I have to do all of this stuff, fair or not, it just doesn't seem like something that you kind of want to deal with.
They have another similar incident right before they get visited by Pia, where she's like, mentions a biking thing, and he's like, "Oh, I think I've heard about that." And she's like, "You did it again!" And I was like, "What?" Like,
right? Yeah.
I don't know. I felt like I was like, "Am I missing something here? Like, this guy seems fine. I don't know. Maybe he talks himself a little bit." She also is very apprehensive about him living with her.
Yeah.
It feels like a very reasonable, like older people kind of like, "Ooh, am I ready to have someone come into my?" She's got this like really cool house, by the way. I was like, "That's awesome." You could tell she was just like a little apprehensive about that being that is a more reasonable thing. But the therapist comes, and Pat basically says she's really direct, and she spins out, and she's just like super it's kind of similar to Meghann in that she just like cannot take the criticism. I don't know. I really wanted them to work, but like to your point, I'm just like, this is tiring. I'm tired of this.
It's exhausting.
Drama.
Yeah. It's exhausting, and I do think that he's trying. Like he's really trying. And I think part of that, I think in any normal relationship, you're with somebody and you're like, I like this person. They just kind of direct conversation to themselves a little bit much. And I think there's ways to bring that up. And I think that she has a little bit of urgency because of her own issues, because she brings up like past relationships, talking about there too much. I think she has her own urgency where this is like such a glaring red flag that it sends her into like a little panic about it, instead of just because my head is spinning because she's like, you don't do this, She's like, hey, don't worry. This is going to work out. It's going to be great. We're going to be married. This is going to be fine. But you keep doing this. And then like he's trying to keep up because he just wants to, I don't know, do Kama Sutra that night or whatever. And so he's trying to get through the conversation and all that stuff. But the problem is like, it's a lot for him. I think it's a lot for him. And I think that she could stand to chill out a little bit and,
Yeah, I know. I hate saying this, but the whole time I'm just like, chill.
Like,
it feels like with Brittany and Will, I'm watching that. I'm thinking like, I can see why she's spinning out.
Yeah.
With Meghann, we've already talked about it, but with her, I'm just like, the half of the time I just don't see it. Feels
the dude
like
is into you. He loves you. Like he really like you kind of getting in your own way a little bit.
Yeah. All right. We'll see on that one. I think the therapists have the opportunity to really be very useful there. Belynda and Chad, fascinating. So this is Jalyn's mom, who we met, who is a very different type of woman.
Yeah.
You can tell that she's been accommodating her whole life.
Yeah.
She's funny. She's like, if J-Lo can get married a lot, so can I. She really looks a lot like her daughter.
Yeah.
So this is the reverse, where I think I with all these other couples up to this point through the wedding, I was like, I didn't think this is gonna work.
Yeah.
With this one through the wedding, I was like, ain't no way.
Yeah.
And then my mind changed as it went on, because but back to the wedding. I mean, we meet this guy. He's been married 3 times. He's like a classic girl dad, sensitive military man. He was awkward as hell at the wedding. And
he was awkward.
This is not going to work.
He was like, people think I'm a jerk. You know, like he's a boss. People think he's a jerk and all that stuff. And I was just, and I think part of it is kind of the way he looks compared to how she, you know, like they just don't look like two people who would be in the same space hanging out. So I was skeptical at first as well. Like this was probably the wedding where I was kind of like most skeptical about.
He's really like, she can't even tell if he's into her.
Yeah, yeah.
They go to Panama and they start to warm up a little bit. They go on a date. Like he buys her a hat. They laugh at a 69 joke together. Yeah. It's revealed they have little girls get together that they are sleeping together, which, man, old people don't waste no time.
Yeah.
He is, and what is very apparent to me by the time they get to Panama is that he realizes he hit the jackpot.
Yes.
That was my big takeaway. I was like, Chad ain't gonna screw this up. Chad knows this is he got one here.
Yeah.
They only have one moment of drama, which was they're at a dinner and he kind of gets lost for words. A producer prompts him and he gets frustrated at the producer, which is interesting because we don't really see stuff like this. And I wanted to get your take on that.
There was a couple a few seasons ago where something similar, she just kind of would fight with the producers. And the guy, and it was a sort of a source of conflict with them. Because it was a similar thing where the producers were trying to prompt her to say something, and she was like, and it was more so about her and her like sort of, you know, communication skills and stuff like that. And the guy was kind of embarrassed about it. It was like in their actual hotel, in their actual apartment that they were in at the time. So this has happened before in the show, but they usually keep that stuff out unless it's like signifying of something relationship. For this, to me, it felt like going back to him talking about he was a jerk, right? I think it was kind of. She saw this side of him that she hadn't seen before, due to sort of how you talk to other people. And she's so nice that I could see how that was a very off-putting thing for her.
And I did like that she brought it up, and then she was nervous about bringing it up. Yeah. And I thought she just says, you need to treat people better. And he apologized. And she's just like, I need a second to get over it. Yeah. So, you know, we've talked about all these people who had very bad conflicts. I thought this was like a healthy, he took it well. He reacted fine.
Because also it's like, we talked about being in a reality show and the pressures and all that stuff. But we've all grown up with reality shows. Like imagine somebody who this is sort of a foreign concept to them of a reality show, and you're married and producers will tell you what to do in this situation. I mean, I could just imagine spinning out in that case.
I think the other thing, though, and this is what's so interesting about having older couples, too, is like you're with this man and he seems so sweet and he's so loving and he's so into her, but he's been divorced 3 times. Yeah, so you got it. I'm watching this thinking like, what happened with this guy? Because he seems like such a lover and such a girl dad and all of that. Yeah. And so I see that, I'm like, oh, does he have a temper? Like, kind of wondering. And I have to think that's what she's thinking as well. And I that is still something that's on my radar. I'm like, are we going to see more of this from this guy?
Yeah, that's something that's something that has been on my mind. Less about the divorce, more about him coming up and being like, people think I'm a jerk.
Yeah, that would agree. It's funny, they get back to Texas, everything's great, dogs, no drama for them. You know, it takes her shooting. She says, normally I just hunt bargains. I mean, he takes her shooting, he hangs an American flag on their balcony. Yeah. I did find myself wondering if they're compatible in other ways, but it's never shown. There's no discussions that are shown. I think that would be the other question I have about this couple before we get to the end. Like, I cannot tell if they have shared beliefs, and I can't tell if they're compatible. I know they like each other. I know he loves her, but I can't tell, David, if they seem to me very much like they would never have gotten together. If not,
and they're the couple I think we have the most question marks about.
Yeah.
They're the couple that we just don't know as much
They're not
about.
shown as much, yeah.
Not shown as much. I will say that him telling her he loved her was the sweetest, like, I love you of the season. I think of just like, you made me as happy. Like that was a really kind moment. And I was like, okay, like this dude is really into her. But there's, as they know, also people who've been married, stuff like that. There are logistical other things that they got to kind of figure out also.
After they get together, it's funny at the guys thing, they're all like mentioning stuff, and he's like, gentlemen, I'm the luckiest man. Like,
right.
And you can tell he's a little drunk, and he comes back dancing, and he says, I love you. And she says it back, and he's so happy. Least surprising moment of the season was that Chad owns a crawfish specific t-shirt.
Yes.
Secondly, surprising was that the crawfish looked really good.
Yeah.
I tell you, Chad, you can just tell, knows how to man a grill.
Yeah.
That man, if I had to pick one of these people at the barbecue, it would be Chad.
Yeah, I mean, hey, Texas, they know how to make a good crawfish boil, dump it in, season good, it's all good,
He's hunting and fishing, and it is an interesting. We don't really see this kind of man a lot. Like a bear, teddy bear of a man who's also coded in this way.
Yeah.
It's interesting, but like you said, I feel like they're the one where I just don't. I can't tell now. I can't tell. Let's do, will they stay together? Not won't they say I do, because they've already said to do.
Yeah. What will they say on decision day?
What will they say on decision day? Another interesting thing, by the way, about this is 7 weeks is a long time.
Yeah. They do. They lock in. Yeah.
Okay. Easiest one, Jalynn and Josh.
Yeah. Oh, yes. Yeah. Big yes. This is my first yes that I've had none of Love Is Blind to write a yes today. So yes.
Okay. Brittany and Will.
I'm gonna go no for now. I'm gonna go no for now.
I'm a yes, and I feel if you had told me I would be a yes.
Yeah.
At episode 5, I would have been shocked, but I don't know. Yeah. They seem to have turned a corner, but I could be wrong.
Yeah, and you know what? And you may be, because also I think we see more flawed couples say yes on Married at First Sight than we do on Love Is Blind. I think because again, you've already been married. You're already married. It's a whole different section. So I do think that the threshold is a little bit different. So you may be right on that one.
Derrek and Meghann. That's a
no, unless they're raising a baby together. So
I really hope that doesn't happen. Oh, you got that fear of me. If
Aiden and Ollie can do it, then
oh God. Pat and Rhonda, I'm a no.
I think I'm a yes on them. I think they'll.
He's too. He wants to work.
Yeah, I think they're, and I think she's willing to like make a not great thing, or not even a not great thing. I think she's willing to sort of try to figure that stuff out.
Belynda and Chad. I'm gonna say yes, but I feel very apprehensive about it.
I'm gonna say yes. I would hate for her not to get married and her daughter to get married. I would hate for her to deal with that. Yeah.
Interesting. Good point. All right. Power rankings. This one's easy at the top. We're gonna go Jalynn and Josh.
Mm-hmm.
I'm so interested in seeing the drama because there's a lot of drama in the trailer for the rest of the season.
Yeah,
and I really believe it's going to be like a Garrett Taylor style thing.
I think so too. The best they can come up with was following an ex on Instagram or whatever.
Number 3 is Chad. Who'd have thunk it?
Yeah,
Chad had a crush in the season. Chad makes crawfish. Chad treats a lady right. Chad found a beautiful woman who I'm going to put at 4.
Mm-hmm.
That would be Belynda, who's coming across very well, I think.
Yeah.
Okay. 5, I'm going to put Brittany.
Okay.
Very likable to me, even if I confused her face. It's a tough one for me. And I think her man figured it out. She seems happy.
She showed him the way.
I'll put Will here.
Okay.
Will is a very conditional 6.
Yeah.
I'm gonna throw Derrek next. Derrek could honestly be higher.
He could be. Yeah.
Nothing wrong. Derrek seems like a great guy. Derrek's just in hell.
I think Derrek might be a little bit better than Will. I think, but you could quibble.
put my man Pat at 8. Pat's trying, but Pat's not having the best time. And then we're down to 2 women. I'm going to go Rhonda at 9 and Meghann at 10.
That feels right.
Yeah.
Meghann, open toe sandals coated.
It's tough. Meghan's having a... Yeah, I actually was surprised in the trailer how much Derrek and there was. Maybe that would support your theory, because I'm thinking episode 7 they out, or episode 8, but
yeah, I thought they were. Yeah, like I said, there was the thing that said one of these couples aren't fall apart. I thought it was actually I thought it was Will and Brittany, but I think after when I got to it, I was like, they're not going to make it. They're done. But
all right.
Having a baby fixes marriages. So
we'll get caught up next week on Married at First Sight. Thank you to everybody who joined us this week. Thank you also to Charlie and Brian, our producers. You guys can subscribe. Viewer discretion, grab your pause, or check us out on YouTube. And
best comment section in the game.
Yeah, please, spread the word, because we're starting with a new show, of course. Yeah. And by the way, if you watched Love is Blind, check out the show, because I find them to be pretty similar, honestly. I think vibes are pretty close.
They're like two sides of like a same sort of reality coin. And I got really into Married at First Sight right around when I started watching Love is Blind. Again, like pandemic watch type of stuff. You'll watch this season. You'll go back, watch some of the classic seasons of Married at First Sight. Atlanta is classic. New Orleans, I believe, is the pandemic one. Those two really stand out. But I think Birmingham, maybe. But there's a lot of them that are just really, really interesting. There's one where these guys almost got in a fight. It was a lot. But there's a lot. But Atlanta and New Orleans definitely two that stand out. Atlanta, Chris, one of the Mount Rushmore villains of reality TV history that I cannot wait for us to discuss one of these days.
Oh my goodness. All right. We'll be back next week to do episodes 8 through 12 or something, or whatever.
Whole season. Rest of the season, right?
Well, and then I think a week later is the finale and reunion. So we'll do that as well. David and I, by the way, have decided to recap Stranger Things after this.
Yeah.
So we're doing a sharp pivot. So get caught up. I know I have to, because the last time Stranger Things was on,
we were getting Netflix CDs delivered to our home the last.
In a minute. So we will be back for that.